with it from his previous life, which was much better than rushing to build a stronghold elsewhere. Of course, the most crucial reason was that Wang Chung simply didn't have much time to prepare. At this moment, he no longer concealed information, partly because the apocalypse was imminent, and partly because others wouldn't be blind to the fact that he had stocked up on so many supplies. Unless they were foolish, they would realize that Wang Chung had known about the impending apocalypse in advance. So, it was better to just say it now. However, Wang Chung would stop there and wouldn't specify who would become a mutated being. He seemed eccentric, but his thoughts were quite clear. Upon hearing Wang Cheng's statement, the people around him erupted in disbelief. Whoa, Wang Chung, are you really losing it? Saying the apocalypse is coming, are you joking? Don't tell me you bought those toy guns to fight against the apocalypse? Wang Chung spoke earnestly, but the toy guns he was holding lacked any persuasive power. Stockpiling supplies could be said to prepare for the apocalypse, but gathering a bunch of toy guns to face it? Wasn't that a joke? Crazy, Wang Chung. You are definitely out of your mind. Wang Chung, go back to your dormitory first. I'll help you contact the counselor and get you to the hospital right away. Yang Shu immediately took out his phone. At that moment, Su Xinghai emerged from the crowd, quickly taking the items from Wang Cheng's hands and pulling him toward dormitory 703. Located by the window at the end of the corridor, fearing that Wang Chung would be drowned in spit, he shut the dormitory door heavily. Inside the four-person dormitory, it was filled with supplies. The leader Su Xinghai, the third Zhang Chao, and the fourth Hu Yiming all looked at him with concern. Hu Yiming said, "Second brother, you're not really out of your mind, are you? We should hurry to the hospital." Su Xinghai replied, "It's fine, whether there's a problem or not. Let's just assume there is. Then today's incident at the exam hall will be forgotten." "Second brother, why are you just looking at your watch and not saying anything? Don't scare us." Li Jia was blabbering about how the second brother had gone crazy everywhere. The atmosphere in dormitory 703 was great. The few of them had been together for 3 years and were like brothers. The concern from the three for Wang Chung was genuine. Meanwhile, just one door away, news of Wang Cheng's madness was spreading rapidly. Li Jia, with a flair for drama, eagerly promoted the story of Wang Cheng's insanity. He even took a photo of Wang Chung at some point and uploaded it to several groups, which other gossipers then shared. Soon, the big group chat was filled with images of Wang Chung standing in the dormitory corridor with a pile of toy guns, declaring that the apocalypse was coming. In dormitory 703, Wang Chung had gone mad, claiming that the end of the world was near and he had bought a bunch of toy guns to fight it. Many expressed concern, but more were mocking. "Ha ha ha, what a joke. I believe the apocalypse is coming, but fighting it with toy guns? What nonsense. Ha ha. I can't stop laughing. If toy guns could fight the apocalypse, then I could just spit and shatter a planet. Is this Wang Chung the same one who caused a ruckus at the exam hall today? Looks like he's pretending to be crazy to avoid punishment from the school." Seeing these messages, Su Xinghai angrily said, "How can these people from the same school talk like this?" But Wang Chung remained silent. He quietly stared at the mechanical watch on his wrist. There was still 1 minute left until 6 o'clock. The global apocalypse was about to erupt. Chapter 4. The first drop of blood. The first howl came from the far end of the city. Though the sound wasn't very loud, it was piercing, especially in the evening rush hour. Many people looked around in confusion, trying to locate the source of this chilling, inhuman sound, but no one knew what was happening. Wang Chung, however, understood clearly that this howl would mark the beginning of everything. Order would collapse, civilization would vanish, the apocalypse surged forward, and everyone would flee. Wang Chung felt a strange sensation, as if an invisible ripple had suddenly come from an infinite distance, swiftly sweeping past him and then racing back to the infinite. It was as if some kind of light wave was scanning the entire planet at the speed of light. Wang Chung was certain that he had never experienced such a feeling during the last apocalypse. What just passed over me? Is it because I have a system that I can feel this? At that moment, several of his roommates surrounding him instinctively looked out the window. Zhang Chao exclaimed, "What the hell is that? It's a bit terrifying." In the corner, Wang Chung slowly reached back and grasped a long, narrow kitchen knife he had bought from the supermarket, which he had tucked behind him. Without energy points, those toy guns remained just that, toy guns, and could not be upgraded to real firearms through the system. Therefore, this knife was the only thing within reach at that moment. Wang Cheng's gaze was fixed firmly on Hu Yiming, the fourth member of their dorm. Suddenly, Hu Yiming, who was standing at the back, showed an expression of pain and stepped back, saying, "Brothers, I think I'm feeling a bit unwell." The enthusiastic leader, Su Xinghai, immediately stepped forward. "Old four. How are you? The second one just went crazy. You can't have any issues too. We should go to the hospital together." His words were cut short as Hu Yiming let out a piercing scream. He fell backward, clutching his head, and in a horrifying spectacle, he began to scratch at his scalp frantically, causing Su Xinghai and Zhang Chao to feel chills. To their shock, Hu Yiming easily pulled out large clumps of his own hair and scalp, blood everywhere, his skin visibly pale, and his eyes rolled back. "Call for help. Hold for. Are you okay? Zhang Chao rushed forward, trying to hold Hu Yiming's hands. But at that moment, Hu Yiming's body, which was struggling on the ground, suddenly sprang up in a way that defied human physical limits. With a terrifying tearing sound, his head split open in the center, his mouth elongated into a bloody, cross-shaped gaping maw, and jagged fangs emerged in a grotesque manner, lunging towards Zhang Chao, who was standing nearby. A mutated being. This is a mutated being. Both Su Xinghai and Zhang Chao, being ordinary college students, had never witnessed such a scene. They were frozen in fear, with Zhang Chao watching helplessly as the creature lunged at him. Wang Cheng's eyes turned blood red. This scene was all too familiar to him, reminiscent of the apocalypse that had just begun before his rebirth. During the apocalypse, influenced by unknown global mutations, Hu Yiming had transformed into a mutated being, brutally devouring their helpful roommate, the third member. Subsequently, the third member, Zhang Chao, who was bitten to death, also mutated and resurrected as another mutated being. Wang Cheng and Su Xinghai had to exert tremendous effort to slay them, and these two roommates had provided Wang Cheng with the first lesson of the apocalypse. Without their deaths to make him aware of the dire reality of the end times, Wang Cheng might not have survived even 3 days. In that dormitory of 4, only Wang Cheng and Su Xinghai remained by dawn. But this time, everything from his memories didn't happen again. The city erupted with a roar as Wang Cheng sprang from his bed, colliding with the fully mutated Hu Yiming. In that critical moment, they both fell to the ground. The precious information he had gathered during his 3 days of survival in his previous life surged in Wang Cheng's mind. These mutants were at their most vulnerable right after their transformation, as it was incomplete and they hadn't fed on flesh to replenish their strength. Aside from their terrifying appearance, they were only slightly stronger than ordinary people. This was the best time to kill them. However, if their transformation lasted more than 15 minutes, or if they had consumed a lot of food, they would continue to mutate. And even the weakest mutants would possess combat abilities far beyond what ordinary people could handle. Even 5 or 6 Wang Chengs might not be able to defeat a fully transformed mutant. This was the best opportunity. Wang Cheng tackled Hu Yiming, raising the dagger in his hand, and with a roar, he plunged it into the head of Hu Yiming, whose skull was already cracking and the fissure expanding. Blood splattered as the dagger pierced through his eye, slicing cleanly down through his twisted, pale face and ultimately severing his neck, causing his head to roll away. Hu Yiming's mutated body twitched violently before finally going still. Wang Cheng gasped for breath. At the moment he struck, he hesitated for a brief moment, not because he wanted to, but because this was his friend, his roommate. They had lived together for many years and shared a close bond. Including today, Wang Cheng had already killed Hu Yiming twice. As a human, he would hesitate. There was a mental barrier to overcome. But Wang Cheng still delivered the blow. He wanted to survive. Perhaps before his rebirth, he still held onto a sliver of hope, thinking everything would turn out fine and that he didn't need to change anything, just wait for someone powerful to save him. But after experiencing death firsthand, Wang Cheng's mind became extraordinarily clear. He understood. This was the apocalypse, a global catastrophe. Relying on others for hope was a path to self-destruction. In his previous life, if he and Su Xinghai hadn't foolishly waited for rescue in the dormitory, they wouldn't have met such a tragic end. In the apocalypse, only blood could be met with blood. To strike the blade was to secure his own survival. With that strike, Wang Cheng severed the cowardice and baseless thoughts in his heart. He wanted to become a qualified survivor of the apocalypse. He needed to live, and he needed to find his parents. For that, he was willing to pay any price. Did you kill the fourth? No, what happened? How did the fourth become a monster? You reacted so quickly just now. Did you already know he was going to turn into a monster? Is what you said about the apocalypse true? In the dormitory, Zhang Chao and Su Xinghai looked on in horror at the scene before them. Everything had happened too quickly. They found it hard to believe and were struggling to process it. However, countless terrifying screams echoed from the dormitory, the campus, and every corner of the city. The evening streets were filled with crazed monsters. A massive car crash ensued, with countless mutated beings frantically devouring the living on the streets. Those who were lucky enough not to be completely consumed would soon stagger back to their feet, their heads splitting in two with a terrifying sound as their eyes rolled back, lunging towards other living beings. In the dormitory building and on campus, screams echoed everywhere. Even more horrifying was the sight of plants and animals beginning to mutate. Not far away, at the edge of the city, a series of huge explosions rang out, mixing with the sounds of sirens and ambulances, gradually being drowned out by the howls of the boiling mutations. At this moment, Su Xinghai and Zhang Chao realized that this world had been engulfed by the terrifying cries. Even in their dormitory, screams and wails filled the air. Just outside the door of room 703, blood smeared the ground as countless people ran in panic, as if being relentlessly pursued by some dreadful creature, facing a massacre. Ultimately, Their gaze fell upon Wang Chung nearby. Wang